Yo, welcome to my episode of Superkick Podcast. I'm your host, Ringside P. I already know you guys checked out SmackDown and Crown Jewel. I gotta go through it. I gotta point out what stood out to me, things that I disliked, things that I liked. Before we get started, though, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, give me feedback. Check out the real shorts, TikToks, me on Spotify, Superkick Store, me on Table Ladders and Bumps. But let's get into it, man. As we already knew, SmackDown was already pre-recorded, which, oh man, that's the thing in itself, right? With it being pre-recorded, I hate that things get leaked out to people. With people leak things out on purpose, right? Just to get clicks, just to get likes, get traffic through their page or whatever. So I just been trying to, I try to avoid all that. Even with now, like Raw's been pre-recorded, so I've been staying off IG, at least off my timeline, because I want to see it as is, man. Like that kind of takes the fun out of wrestling for me. The dirt sheets, people posting spoilers or whatever. But if you into that, it's out there. You can go check it out. But SmackDown pre-recorded, like I said, and so wasn't really feel like a go home show. And it also like throws off everything because I already know it's pre-recorded, right? So we knew that Jimmy had already went to Raw already, and they had the thing because that was shot, but this was shot beforehand, and it's like, what? But we get in this little bloodline reunion in the beginning, and which leads us, and then it's like we got an impromptu war game match, and that's what it feels like at Crown Jewel. 6-man tag, Roman and the Usos, and that's how they building too. They're building it as Roman and the Usos. Get this piece of hair off me. And this is my hair too. Roman and the Usos. Well, Roman, Jimmy, and Jay versus the Bloodline. Not Bloodline versus Bloodline yet, because they already know that's what it is. It really is that, but we can't call them yet because the OG Bloodline isn't officially back together, right? Excuse me. And does that kind of water down War Games, right? If we already kind of getting a prequel or a preview of what it's going to be like. I feel like this match wasn't needed, but they over in Crown Jewel, they over in Saudi, so there's a different story, right? I think we could have got War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline, just through building the story up correctly through the week, but I get more into that, right? So, like I say, we get into actual Crown Jewel. We got 7 matches on the card. I'm like, man, what? This thing about from Bad Blood was like, was it like 3.5? But it felt like it was like 6 hours. So I'm just like, with 7 matches, this mug gonna be like 10 hours, like WrestleMania. But surprisingly, Crown Jewel was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. And one of my biggest things about Crown Jewel is like, we know they go over there, they get the money to go over there or whatever, and they just quote unquote put like dream matches together, and the matches might not necessarily be good, right? So that's why I feel like this was. This is one of those, hey, y'all over here, we know what we want to see. We paying for it. Put it together. 6-man tag, Bloodline versus Bloodline, or whatever you want to call it. But this is what we want. Put it on the table, right? So we get out there. We get Roman and Jimmy come out together. Then we get Jay coming out. But we also get the Bloodline, Solo and his boys. They all come out together. Jay comes out, and Saudi had the energy. This ain't no knock to the fans, because the fans are the fans, man. All of the people overseas, they just be rocking it, and it's like, we have to step it up in the U.S. or WrestleMania is just gonna leave and go over there. It might just stay over there because the energy overseas is just crazy. Fans yeeting like crazy, bouncing. They probably got that whole stadium rocking, going nuts, right? You can see it, you can feel the energy through the TV, but you also feel like there's tension between the OG Bloodline, and Roman's looking around, and we don't know if he's envious of it or jealous of the other energy or the love that Jay is getting, because they granted, when Roman comes out, you put your ones up, but when Jay comes out, it's a different level now. Like, it's the aura, and maybe it's not, maybe we can't even call it aura, because Roman has something different, a different presence about him than Jay has, but the energy that Jay brings, that's electricity, man. Like that's crazy when he comes out. Like, I gotta go be a part of that. I gotta go be part of that energy, man. Anyway, they come out, And when the match started, one of the first things that I took away from it was, man, this is great to see. Like, I don't mean, it's not even just talking about just wrestling. Like, yo, you get your whole family, like your family, this, people, this blood out there, and y'all out here, and y'all just rocking it. Like not even the main. It could have been the main event, but still, like you got Roman, Jay, Jimmy, Cousins, Solo, Cousins. You got Jacob, my two cousins. Like, yo, and you got the Tongas out there. Still part of the island. Vibe and everything, all that stuff right there. And so watching that, I'm like, man, like this is just amazing. I wonder how these guys feel to know that they're part of something like this, like that on this stage. Like that has to be dope, right? And it's almost similar to like LeBron and Bronny. Oh, you get to play with your son, like on the same team, and not on like some kind of no name. It's the Lakers, like that's crazy. So, although, man, I think that's dope in itself. No matter how, if you like or dislike the bloodline or storyline or whatever, just the fact that they've been able to do this as a family and at this level. It is amazing to me. So shout out to them for that. The match was what it was. Like, you saw like the tension between Jay and Roman. Jay says, like, yo, man, we equals. Said that previously the night before on SmackDown. Like, yo, we equals now. We ain't your lackeys. We coming in. It's like, yo, we all the same. And like, you ain't my tribe, but you my cousin. And it's like, yo, Jay wants to be respected. He wants to be looked as an equal. He's not below anyone. And it's like, yo, that's great to come back around to. Like, Jay went out as a solo competitor, established himself, became an IC champion, lost it, but still he was able to do that. Being able to take this whole Yeet thing and make it into something major, becoming like number one in merchandise sales. Like that's wild. Jay Uso is out here killing it, yo. So you see the tension between them. Jay not wanting to tag Roman, tags Jimmy, and that dynamic. So we see the tumultuous relationship that they try to build into this bloodline, the OG bloodline. Can they coexist, right, during this match? They did pretty well, and I felt like we had to know that Bloodline 2.0 was going to win because they can't keep losing to the OG bloodline in matches. And, if they lost again, what's the point of War Games, right? So you got to have that kind of back and forth and make it seem like the OG bloodline is a real threat to the original bloodline. I mean, Bloodline 2.0 is a real threat to the OG bloodline. And I thought we was going to get a debut or some other interference or something like that. And surprisingly, we didn't. So I wonder. At least from the Bloodline 2.0 side. With the number, they still had the numbers in their favor. Match ends. Then they taking the OG bloodline comes out. You got Sami Zayn pops up because he's over in Saudi. We kind of saw him and Solo talking back on Raw. And so he pops up and he comes in the ring. You don't know what side he's supposed to pick, and he picks his OG bloodline. And they kind of stand kind of victorious in a sense, and they got Solo cornered, all four of the originals, and Sammy hits Roman with a kind of like a hula kick in the face, and now that's just what it is. Can the OG bloodline once again work together to be able to take out Bloodline 2.0? And I feel like we're talking. Some people are saying like, "Oh, it's rushed." No, it's not rushed. It has to be like this because it's over in Saudi, and so Sammy's real big in Saudis, and it's like, yo, it feels rushed. Like we didn't play into the dynamic of whether or not Jay was going to side with his brother and team up with Roman to take out Bloodline 2.0. You had the 2.0 that cost Jay the IC championship so soon. It could have been something like I said before, to where they played a part to where Jay won, and Jay didn't want the help, but he still won. And now we're seeing like, oh well, they're out to help me, or are they really out to help me? Or are they really just trying to make me on their side to keep me from joining Roman? We could have played into that a little bit, but they didn't do that. We could have played a little more to Jimmy and Jay really getting back together, burying a hatchet in a sense. Maybe Jimmy getting jumped and then Jay coming out to save him, or vice versa. You know, like, where was Jimmy when Jay was getting attacked by the Bloodline 2.0 out there? You know, where was Roman? You know, that didn't happen. We could have played a little more into the storyline between Solo and Sammy. You know, Solo coming to approach Sami Zayn about all of this stuff. Like, yo, you don't want to go back and dealing up with them. You know, you should come side with us, or, you know, don't even get involved. Like, we didn't play into it. Now it felt like now we're rushing it again for Sunday, and we have all this time to properly do it. But anyway, I digress. What did you guys say about Bloodline versus Bloodline, the mini war games at Crown Jewel? Let me know. Comment below. Next, moving on to the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag match for the Tag Team Championships. Solid match, you know. I love Michael Cole, man. Michael Cole be going in on Chelsea Green for no reason at all. Like, he just wake up and he just be going in so over the top, like, and we talk about, one thing I love so much about WWE is just that you just gonna watch wrestling, you know, like the two people in the ring or whatever. Like, it's a whole presentation. Like, you got the announcer, you know, at the time, Samantha Irvin, like, amazing. You know, you get even like the referees sometimes play a part, but not too much because I don't like that. But you get the announce team, you know. Whether it's Corey Graves and Michael Cole just calling the match, or like, say you got Michael Cole just being over the top about Chelsea Green. Wade Barrett, on the other hand, you know, we're pretty daddy. Like, he you know, just that, like, that presentation that the E puts on, like, I love it, you know, and that's just me. That's just my personal thing about it. Yeah, I gotta watch more AEW, you know, because it's different personalities, it's different things, how they do stuff. But, like, man, I just love the eating stuff like that. So I like that they pointed out too. They didn't even see, now we get into also Jay and Bianca possibly about to split at some point. Corey Graves wanted to point that out, that they came out Saturday night as an actual, like, tag team, and which is still weird, crazy too, because they don't even have an official name. They've been a tag team for months now, ever since WrestleMania, when the big three, you know. Don't even have like a mashup of their music together, you know. They might come out in similar gear or colors, you know, matching colors and stuff like that, but you would think the music would be different. And I would thought they would get more into the Wakanda Forever type of thing, you know, and they don't really do too much of that like I would like them to do. But my Corey Graves wants to point out that they're trying to separate, you know, and we might try to see some egos playing a part. And I got Jade Cargill being healed if that starts to happen. The thing that stood out to me was the Meta Girls, man. We already know what Chelsea Green, Piper Niven bring. Damage Control definitely know what they bring it all the time. Jade and Bianca, you know. But the Meta Girls on the main roster, not only on the main roster, but also on the main roster PLE over in Saudi, and a big thing that way too as well. Lash Legend, man, definitely has it. You know, like, I think a lot of us saw high when when Jay Cargill came over to the E, and I was just thinking about all these possible, like, matchups I wanted to see her in, you know. But man, I want to see Lash Legend in some of these matchups now too. Like, she had a real good match against Piper Niven, and I do want to see this hub between Jay Cargill. You know, they try to say they might be equals in power, but hey, I want to see that. Like, I think Lash Legend has a definitely a bright future on the main roster in WWE. Hopefully, you know, things get crazy. People get released and they be on the show one week and then they be released the next week. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But still, your women's tag team champions, Jade and Bianca. But we'll see how long that lasts, right? Getting my next thing. The super kicks of the week. The superstar who had the super kicks of the week. And I feel like I might have mentioned him before, but usually he doesn't wear too many sneakers that stand out to me, because I don't think he really wears sneakers. There's always something like crazy. Whether it's some boots or heels or something like that. Man, Seth freaking Rollins, man. Seth freaking Rollins is my superstar with the super kicks of the week, man. Space Jam, Jordan 11 Space Jams. I have those. Like, man, iconic shoe from the Space Jam movie. You know, you had to be a part of that. You had to be a part of that. Comes out. I'm like, man, them Jordans look familiar. He came out in there. I'm like, man, all those Space Jams? Nah, they can't be Space Jams. And I see the bottom. I'm like, man, them all Space Jams. He out here wrestling in some Jordan 11s. Kill it, man. Like, Seth Rollins. I'm real disappointed that, far as like WWE merchandise, Seth doesn't really have any good merchandise. Like, but when you look at him and the stuff that he wears and the crazy fashion, like, I thought they really would have tapped into that and turned some of that into merch that maybe people want to wear, or just, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like Seth Rollins will have way more merchandise than he does on the WWE shop. That's just me. But anyway, he has his match against Bronson Reed. Seth's out here looking to be a monster slayer. And what's going to happen, man? Who needs to match more? Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed comes out. And you see the front. And if you know hip hop and you're a fan of hip hop, you know that what that is on the front, man. That's MF Doom, y'all. MF Reed out here ready to drop some tsunamis. The match started all crazy. I'm thinking, like, man, he hit Seth Rollins with a tsunami. I thought, man, this is going to be a squash match? Already, low-key, I would have loved that. I think I would have loved a squash match and Bronson Reed to squash the Seth Rollins. And reestablishes him as just being a monster, just straight dominant, and he can't be stopped. Because I felt like they was putting him on a decent push, you know. And then he had the monster versus monster match against Braun Strowman, and now he lost that, and he gotta go Seth Rollins, and anyway. But I'm watching Bronson Reed out there, yo, man. He put. I don't want to say him, like, man, but both of them dudes, like, man, they put on a great match to me. Like, Bronson, they say that it's hard. It might be hard to have a bad match against Seth Rollins, and maybe Seth Rollins makes other people look better. But if that's the case, he really did do a lot for Bronson Reed, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was almost equal. Like, Bronson Reed came out there, man, he can go, man, like. And I'm like, man, I don't want to see him in these gimmick matches or, you know, monster versus monster. If he's out there, he can go like that, man. Let this dude just go. Like, he got what it takes to be IC champion, US champion, maybe even world heavyweight champion, you know, something like that. Like that, the women doesn't have as much titles as the men do, but I almost feel like the man should have one more title because you got people like Bronson Reed out there. Another person, Karrion Kross. Like, I get in a whole rant about Karrion Kross, how he deserves something, you know. But, man, this was a great match. They just out there just ready to destroy each other. You get Seth Rollins with a super stomp from the top rope. The stomp, Bronson Reed's hit into the mat for the 1, 2, 3. And what a great shot afterwards as Seth Rollins, who barely survives this match, as the monster is still alive and back up, breathing, blood trickling down his face. Like, that's a great shot, man, in itself. I want to see more between these two, but I also want to see more with Bronson Reed, man. So what do you guys think about that match? Huh? Do you guys love it? You guys hate it? Let me know. Comment below, man. We get into our first champion versus champion for the Crown Jewel Championship. We got Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. We knew this match was going to be a match of shenanigans. We got Tiffany Stratton, Miss Money in the Bank. You got Liv Morgan with the Judgment Day. You got Raquel Rodriguez on the side. You know she got Dirty Dom. I almost called this man Daddy Dom. You know, you got Dirty Dom in the back. You know, so it's just shenanigans just waiting to spill over, right? And that's what we had. We had shenanigans. It felt like at times that it was a little like jerky, or, you know, like it was like buffering in the sense of where like it wasn't as fluid and you had to wait for things to kind of they had to telegraph stuff properly. And maybe this is because, hey, you got two people who are on the extreme opposites of each other as far as like just like size, so can't really fault, but it was still a decent match to me, and when I think about it, most of the Crown Jewel was good to me, some matches were a lot better than the other matches, but that's kind of how you always get. But to me, sometimes Crown Jewel to me is like a toss up, or feels like it's like a throwaway PLE, in a sense sometimes. But decent match. I love that. And even though I've seen this with Jacob Fatu does it, the pop up, Samoan drop, it's cool that Nia Jax did that, and that she's able to do that with smaller opponents, like, and she should be able to, and it's great that she takes advantage of that when she's able to do that. But throughout all the shenanigans, I think, even though I'm against Tiffany Stratton cashing in, but what would have happened if Tiffany had cashed in and made it a triple threat match? Would she have won one of the women's titles, or would she have just won the Crown Jewel title? We'll never know, but it might have been something cool, right? But Liv Morgan, she wins. She's the first ever women's Crown Jewel champion. Shout out to Liv Morgan, man, out here grinding, getting down to business, being the first ever, man. That's something, Whether we think that the titles are pointless or we think it's a cool idea over here, like, it's still real cool to be the first women's champion of the Crown Jewel Championship. Like, that's history making right there. So that's what's up. We're gonna get into this next match, which is Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Kevin Owens, the lunatic fringe, he's off the hinges. You don't know what he's gonna do. He's psychotic. He's a psychopath. All the stuff they're trying to build up to Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is kind of leaning into this whole like conspiracy thing too. Like, there's people in WWE that's against him and a lot of stuff. So I don't know if he's not gonna come back and not sign back with the E, if that's how it is. Like, yo, I'm out of here because it's too much conspiracy or BS, or people are against me and I gotta go free myself. And maybe that's a storyline in itself. He comes out in a Bob Orton shirt. Like, man, I don't know what Kevin Owens gets his shirts at, but man, he always brings out some cool shirts. Randy Orton comes out. He got to be the new Undertaker, because that entrance had to have been all of like 6 minutes. You got the crowd singing the song. Like I say, the fans over there in Saudi Arabia going nuts, singing the songs. Kevin Owens gets sick of this. Hey man, I'm tired of waiting. Like, yo, we gotta get the fighting. So he started, ambushes Randy Orton, and instantly it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was actually gonna be a match, and it wasn't that. There's no contest because it was just chaos, and sometimes chaos is just good, right? There's 3 chaos out there. Ends with KO giving Randy Orton a elbow drop from outside by the fans somewhere onto a table. Randy Orton had to be carried out while KO kind of walked out. And I think this might set up possibly for the Randy Orton turn. He's been looking more and more at Cody Rhodes' WWE Undisputed title. We get the glimpses at it. He hands it to him in a certain way at times. And Kevin Owens has kind of been trying to push this as, yo, this is all Cody Rhodes' fault. And he's going to say, like, yo, this is your fault, Cody, that I had to do this to Randy Orton. Like, this is your fault that I did this. I had to take Randy Orton out because of you. Like, you did this, and maybe that might lead to Randy Orton blaming Cody Rhodes too as well. Like, man, I had your back this whole time with the bloodline stuff, and then you side with Roman Reigns, someone who took me out for 18 months. And now I'm being tapped by my friend Kevin Owens because of you, because you side with Roman Reigns. And I went through this whole grooving thing over at Crown Jewel, and Kevin Owens had to take me out, and I'm battered and bruised all because of you, Cody Rhodes, and that might lead to the heel turn. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of feeling, but we'll see. What do you guys think is next for Kevin Owens and Randy Orton? Let me know. Comment below. I might need to drink some water for this next part right here. Because now I'm about to get into who asked for that. Nah, who asked for this? Because it's still going on. It's not the past, right? So, this won't be a podcast of stuff outside of the realm too much of wrestling, and really going to kind of lean into just wrestling stuff, really. But this is one thing that kind of has been bothering me. What it has bothered me is wrestling and politics. So I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, because whoever you vote for is whoever you vote for, and it says something about you as a person. I hope that you will probably vote for someone that I will vote for, but politics is politics, and people be politicking in a way that sometimes isn't the best for people in general. There's other agendas at hand, right? But some people that are politicians or call themselves politicians have ideas and thoughts and beliefs that go against humanity and degrades people, and that's not cool. But anyway, that is part of here or there. The one thing that I don't like and I didn't ask for was, I don't know, man. I don't like, and this isn't gonna be like thing like shut up and wrestle, because no, it ain't about that, because these are people too. But first I saw Hulk Hogan at the Republican Party convention thing or whatever, ripping his shirt off, and I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Not needed, but I got the idea. Like, yo, excuse me, wrestling is hot. If wrestling was trash right now, there'd be no use for having Hulk Hogan at the Republican National Party or whatever convention and stuff. But since wrestling is what it is right now, that's why he was there, right? And try to get people who love wrestling for a long period of time on the Republican side. Then I hear that, yo, Donald Trump is on Undertaker's podcast, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. All right. Then I hear about Mick Foley endorsing Kamala Harris, and it's like, okay. Once again, this is what we doing, and this ain't no shot to that, because I mean, y'all can vote for whoever you want to vote for, and they can vote for who and endorse whoever they want to endorse. But I guess I feel like, yo, I have a passion and love for wrestling, and I don't want that to be weaponized. It's like the vote or die thing, you know? Don't weaponize something that I love to get me to go do something else. Like, and I feel like that's how over here is like, well, yo, we idolize certain people and stuff like that. So if they say go do this, then yeah, we're gonna go do that, because that's how we kind of roll with this country, right? Instead of like us really doing our research and our due diligence to really find out if this is a proper candidate that we should be voting for. Yeah, I don't like that. It's almost like, yo, and then where does it stop, right? That's just my love and passion for wrestling. But what if one day we get to the point, it's like, yo, growing up, and they'd be like, yo, man, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, he sided with the Republican Party, but Michelangelo, he sided with the Democrats. And it's like, what? Like, what's going on, man? Like, there's divisiveness in the Turtles. And why did the Turtles vote? Why did the Teenage go eat some peas and go fight some crime? Right, but that's wrong, though, right? I can't tell the Turtles to go do that. They should be able to go vote if they was legally able to go vote. But they're Turtles and they're mutants, and I don't think they can do that. But it's like the real Ghostbusters. It's like He-Man. It's like He-Man going to go side with Donald Trump. And Skeletor been like, yo, you know what? I'm going to go support Kamala Harris. Ha ha ha. And it's like, yo, like, I don't want, and that's for people who are fans of that, you know, of He-Man or Turtles, or someone taking the Transformers and Megatron be like, yo, I'm siding with Donald Trump. And Optimus Prime was like, Autobots, go vote for Democrats, you know? And it's like, I just want people to just go do what they got to go do, the due diligence, right? Go research the people, and don't go to vote for someone just because The Undertaker or Mick Foley or Hulk Hogan or whoever else popular or celebrity endorses someone. Like, you don't have to believe the same that they believe, you know? And it would be different if there was like, they use their real names. Mick Foley, I don't know if that's his real name or not. It could be his real name. It could not be. I don't know. If this is his real name, then Mick Foley, cool. If it's not, but I know him as Mick Foley. The same thing with like Taker and Hulk Hogan. Like, yo, I wish y'all would just use your real name and not lean on to the wrestling thing, because then it's like, yo, oh man, I was wrestling, and Hulk Hogan and Undertaker and Mankind, they go vote for these people, so I probably go vote for these people too. And it's like I said, once again, man, just do your decision, man, because I didn't ask for this. Just go vote responsibly. You know, do your research. Hopefully, whoever becomes president does what's right and don't have us out here in the chaos. And doesn't even matter anyway, because everything's turning to AI, and they just gonna turn on Skynet in a couple months, and then we have to fight Terminators and snorkel. So yeah, T-1000. So hey man, you tell me what you're gonna do. I'm just gonna be here. Let's get into our next topic, which is topic number 9. I got like 10 topics for today. Topic number 9 is the U.S. Triple Threat title match. And first thing that stood out to me was on the Titantron or whatever for Andrade's entrance, that dude, that figure, why is his nipples glowing? I don't know why the guy's nipples glowing. I don't know why he even needs nipples. Like, he's not even a real person, but they're glowing for some reason. Like they got lasers. I thought they were gonna shoot out lasers, but I don't know why the nipples are glowing. Also feel like this Melo versus Andrade could have been an actual PLE match. Like, it didn't need to be part of the U.S. title, because I didn't feel either one of them was gonna win a U.S. title anytime soon. Like, I was loving this matchup between Melo and Andrade, and what is a better stage to settle this than an actual PLE? Because that's what if it used to be, like, you build to something like this would be the end, the culmination would be a PLE or pay-per-view back in the day, right? Or a main event on like a Raw or a SmackDown. Like, they've been opening shows or being in the middle of the shows or whatever, and they've been consistently cooking, you know, when them two face off. And I think they should have been rewarded properly with their final one-on-one, because the other one we got ripped off because LNA was the ref, and it turned out to be a no contest, right? So I'm saying all this to say this, like, excuse me, even though it still turned into a triple threat that I didn't think was needed, it still was a good triple threat match. Like, there was a botch or whatever here and there, but for the most part, all those dudes did well or extremely well. You know, like, you got Melo fighting around, you got Andrade fighting around, you got that BFT almost like on the both of them, and you still saw how amazingly that Carmelo sold that. You know, like, he's a great seller. Like, was great. Like, I want to see more of Andrade and Melo, and I don't know, out of the two of them, who I want to see them even face the other night in possibility. I don't think either one of them are going to beat him anytime soon. I think he's on a roll. But he did his part well in the match. Like, he didn't have to do nothing, really. Honestly, they had the showdown, but the spots that he did outside that one botch was still good, you know? But LA gets the win. Shout out to LA Knight. Shout out to Andrade. Shout out to Melo, man. You dudes are cooking it right now. I hope people give you guys the props that you rightfully deserve. And like I say, we got maybe War Games, maybe Survivor Series. We get that actual proper match 7. We'll see, right? I don't know, 35 minutes. It's so much to talk about, right? But last thing for the night, or for the day, or whatever time you watching this, is this Crown Jewel Championship men's title. You got champion versus champion again. We got Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. Be the first ever men's Crown Jewel champion. And no shenanigans in this match, but the match had a certain type of vibe to it. Like, some people might have said it might have been boring. I won't go as far as to say that, but I would say that it kind of felt like it was like more of like an old school wrestling match, right? Pretty slow, methodical, type of wrestling match. A lot of grapples, holds, and trying to like tell like a story. And it was decent in that part, and maybe it did slow down the end of Crown Jewel, but when they said how the finish was, and they mentioned Bret Hart, and that's how Bret Hart beat Piper, who I think one of his finishes was a sleeper hold. You see like full circle, right, where Gunther had mentioned this Bret Hart, had that little back and forth for Bret Hart, and Cody Rhodes, who's supposed to be a student of the game, beat Gunther in a Bret Hart like fashion, so that was cool that way. And with wrestling, I feel like all the plays stay the same, just the players change. And I think we if you really pay attention to that, you see it a lot, right? So Cody Rhodes wins. He's the first ever Crown Jewel champion. But with that being said, what is the real purpose of this? Like, what's next for Gunther after this? How does this make Gunther look, who only has had 2 losses now that I can remember in the last 2 years? One to Sami Zayn, and this one's to Cody Rhodes, And instead of us elevating the World Heavyweight Championship again or making it equal, we felt like we diminished it. It was already the number 2 title, and then it could have been maybe on par with the Undisputed title championship, but it's not. And then I don't know at any time that it will be, and it has to be someone like Roman, or I don't know, they really elevate that title to me equal number 1, right? And then, like I say, now I find out that they don't even get to keep these Crown Jewel titles, right? They had these titles made, they won them, and the titles stay in Saudi at the WWE Experience, which we should have one of those over in the States, and maybe the WWE world is kind of similar to that. But hey, man, this is the States. Come on, man. What do we get? And we just get we just step kids over here, man, with stuff. But the titles stay over there in Saudi, and the winners, they get Super Bowl-esque rings. And I'm like, what? But I guess you can't really, it was great to see Roman carrying around 2 titles and he clacking them together. Can I really expect Liv Morgan to be carrying this big old title that is the size of her torso? You saw how it was with Cody Rhodes. Like, man, it was almost like a 50 Cent bulletproof vest on that he had, But still, I guess the idea is cool. It kind of does remind me of Raw vs. SmackDown back in the day. Or now, I won't even say back in the day, but when they used to do Survivor Series Raw vs. SmackDown, where we had champion versus champion, for bragging rights. And this is, once again, that they mentioned about bragging rights. But yeah, I don't know how I really feel about the whole thing. I mean, it's Crown Jewel, and so we know what that is, when it comes to things over there. After kind of watching the pre-show, I'm like, yo, I do want to go visit. I want to go visit. It looks dope. Everything over there looks real cool. Like, it's just, I would like to go see the WWE Experience, but there was so many other things too. Just on that little pathway looked cool over there. I don't know. I'm not pandering, but hey, man, if somebody wants to give me a trip to Saudi Arabia, I'll take it, depending on how hot it is or whatever. But it probably is hot. I don't know, man. I'm not geographical. Anyway, what do you guys think about Cody versus Gunther? Should Gunther have won? Should it have been? I thought there was going to be shenanigans. I actually thought there was going to be some shenanigans. I thought that to kind of preserve Gunther's legacy or his image, that the match wouldn't have ended like that. I wouldn't say it was necessarily clean. I mean, it's clean victory or whatever. And he had Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes kind of reversed it and 1, 2, 3 that way. But I thought Goldberg was gonna pop out and have some type of altercation with Gunther, because he had called, Gunther had said some words to him at a previous show, or at Bad Blood, I think it was. And I thought that was going to be kind of in. That was going to allow Cody Rhodes to win that way, right? And that kind of also would have probably added a little more to this whole heel turn that Cody Rhodes should eventually be doing, but it didn't happen. But yeah, man, what do you guys think about that? Let me know. Comment below. Comment below about everything, man. Just give me some feedback, man. Super kick that subscribe button, man. We're at the end of the show now. I mean, you made it here. Hopefully, you made it here. Super kick that subscribe button for me. Make sure you check out the what ifs. I got a what if between Andre the Giant, Braun Strowman. I got another one dropping this week. Make sure you check that out. I'm gonna get back and be more consistent with those. But man, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, give me feedback. Check out the Real Shorts, TikToks, Superkick store. It's getting cold outside. I'm gonna put some hoodies out because it's cold, man. It's hoodie season, really. Get those put out. Take me on table on bumps. And until next time, adios. Peace.